What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. Oh, yeah. You ready for the 808? Let's get the bass going. Yeah. For another hard hits review. Yeah. But we ain't doing no review this week. Actually, it's election day. So while everybody is voting, I am podcasting. Yes, I did vote, but we are not voting for presidents or anything today. Today, I'm going to give you my elected players, my DFS seasonal dynasty players that have been on winning teams. So this is going to be the Pain Bringer Awards halfway through the season. Let's get some elections going on. At the end, I will have a player from my hard hits and cool picks article that just hit the site at Dr. Roto today. Speaking of which, head to Dr. Roto right now. We have tons of waiver wire articles. Doc's Fab article just hit the thing. And with code word Doc40, it's only a limited time. You get 40% off of your subscription. That means less money to pay out, more money to win. I cannot tell you the size that somebody hit this week from our group, and I will just let it at that. But no, every single week, we are putting out the best lineups, giving you the best advice all day, practically almost 24 hours a day to make sure that you are our rich friend. Yeah, let's get ready to bring the pain. And also make sure you hit like, follow, share. Head over to Bring the Pain on Spreaker. Follow me, comment. That's how I get all of your views. That's how they can push me to the top to help make Bring the Pain one of the best sport podcasts in the world. Yeah. Woo. All right. Election day. Man, what players made the cut? So we're going to keep this simple. I went with what I thought, my opinion only, that these players are the best of the best right now. They may not be the most of the points at that position, but they are the player that is consistently in there, making sure they're getting their job done for you and making sure that they make all the fantasy points your teams deserve across the board. Yeah. So let's get to it. Quarterback, it's none other than Lamar Jackson. 6 games above 30 points. And I mean, he's got some 20-point games in there, but that right there makes me sway from my boy Josh Allen, because Josh Allen has had an 8-point game and a 12-point game practically in normal standards scoring for a quarterback. And for me, that's the key factor, is that Lamar's been getting it done all over. To know that you literally are just putting in 30 points a week. Hence, I have Lamar and Zay Flowers on my guillotine league. They've practically carried me. I mean, I have some other great weeks. I mean, I think I came up a couple points short for first place. I think I was in second this week in total points for the week. But regardless, that's what I'm doing with. In one of my seasonal leagues, I have Derrick Henry. With Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon, who is a great runner-up right now. That key combination, nobody wanted those running backs. Yet, both of those running backs are at the top. So that leads to the running back. It's gonna be Derrick Henry. 5 games above 30 points. Like, whoa. And of course, in this league that I'm taking, I'm giving you bonuses for 100 yards, because most leagues have converted to that now. But in a standard league, of course, some of that scoring is going to come down. It won't make a difference because he's still scoring touchdowns. And that's the thing, is that he's doing so much. Again, some of my best fantasy teams, which I didn't get him on a lot of my fantasy teams, he was a keeper in that league, are winning because of him. And that's been the sauce. Honestly, if you look at a lot of the top fantasy teams, you're going to notice that one of these players has been on that team most of the year. I say that because there's a kicker. I'm doing every position, even defense, right? So we got Lamar Jackson. You're my elected official quarterback halfway through the fantasy football season. And your buddy, Derrick King Henry.
I don't know if anybody else should be called king unless you're talking about the Macho Man. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Macho, it's not Thursday. You got to wait.
I dig it. Yeah.
Thanks, Macho. Anyway, yeah, every once in a while, he just stops by, starts talking about these things, these Macho picks of the week. I know he's going to be mad because not only did his Macho pick, which was Drake London, hit, then he got hurt. So it just literally sat on. I will leave all of that for Bring the Pain this week. because I have a few things and it sucks, but hey, DFS Labs, the Ultra Contrarian Show was great, but at the same time, I'm a little unhappy about, getting some injuries, Olave, London. We'll talk Thursday, but let's get to it. Wide receiver, Jamar Chase. I love what Jamar Chase is doing. And why I edge him on Justin Jefferson is not just because he has a couple touchdowns more. It's also because Jamar Chase has one game that was just nuclear over 40 points. And this is what I talk about when it comes to fantasy football. It's great that Justin Jefferson is being consistent, getting about 18, 19 points every single week. But man, when someone puts up 42, I literally faced a team that scored 150 or 185 points, two different teams, two ice in a row with my one league that I'm trying to win. But every time I play, I got these 40-point players. And again, one of those players is on this list, and that's coming up. But Jamar Chase, my idea is it's great to be consistent, but sometimes during a week, you need a big game. You need that 40 points. And when you can get that, that puts that player in another league. I call that the pain bringer level. By obtaining that level, most likely you're going to win. When I talk about IDP and I say my defensive players, between my defensive players, my kicker, and my defense, that I'm scoring 50, 60 points a week, and the league average is 125, that is a big difference when my opponents are only scoring 40. That's 20 points. But that's when you need that extra point, those extra points, because you got to deal with these 30-point players like I've had to put up with. But hey, that's weekly head-to-head fantasy football in a nutshell. And we should all know that, right? Let's move along. Tight end, George Kittle, hands down, best, ain't even close. I don't care what your mama's cooking, if she's cooking, because if you can smell the IDP hero and what he's cooking, he's going to make sure that you're going to be cooking at the end of this podcast for a player. But when it comes to George Kittle is just simply getting it done. In tight end premium leagues, this dude is averaging over 30 points a game. 30 points a game. I know that the average might be 28. Oh, he had this one game that was like 15 points or 10 points. But I am staring at 6 or 5 30-point games in a row. Number one, you are my elected official. You got the championship belt. You deserve everything. George Kittle, ooh. But as a Rams fan, you still got waxed, boy. Yeah. Anyway, defense. This is going to get you. You're going to wonder who the defense is. It's none other than the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos? Heat override. Are you crazy? The Denver Broncos. Look, the only other team technically that could beat them in points right now is the Chargers. But that's because the Chargers are just the Chargers. They're just up there. They have all these names like the Bosa. They got Deion Henley, who I just was talking about a few weeks ago on my Hard Hits and Cool Picks article. But at the same time, they have been getting it done. They've been caught in these low-scoring games and just slobber knockers, and they're running the ball with J.K. Dobbins. So they're controlling the clock, they're keeping it close, and they're just getting it done. And that's how that defense has been playing. The Denver Broncos are playing the same way. They just don't have all the star power other than, they have offensively. I mean, Bo Nix has been doing amazing. Like, a lot of people aren't even looking at him because of what Jaden Daniels is doing. And I get that. But Bo Nix is not Jaden Daniels. Bo Nix is Bo Nix. He's winning. And he's winning with a team with an offense that's really just not the best. He's got 3 tight ends that he's just throwing in anyway, Trotman, Crawl, and whoever else. He's got Cortland Sutton and then a guy named Little Jordan Humphrey. And then we got some other guys too. We don't even want to go there. All right. But what this defense has been able to do is keep everything close. And by keeping everything close, they have had a lot of double-digit weeks. And those double-digit weeks are what put the Denver Broncos in the elected defense to have. Yeah, I mean, I'm electing them as the top defense, and that says a lot for me. But I've been all over Denver DFS-wise for weeks. I've been spitting it, and people have not just been believing in it, and then there's some people that have. And that's because I don't care about your touchdowns or anything like that. That's hard to predict. But at the same time, when you can roll a defense out there and know you're going to get anywhere from 5, 6 points to maybe 10, 11, I'm fine with that. And when I'm getting them from league minimum, 25, 21, 2000, 28, that to me right there is the key. That's the key to having a great defense. And that defense right now on a seasonal team may not be the flashiest, but they definitely have been getting it done. Check them out. Maybe they're on your waiver wire. Go grab them. Right? Let's move over to kicker. Austin Seibert, bro. I'm just telling you. Austin Seibert has been getting it done every single week. This dude is just kicking, kicking, and kicking. And the Redskins are just they have like the best offense in the league. And everybody's like, what? What? Yeah, they're just up there. And Seibert has been just kicking points. He's averaging like 12.9 points a week in my one league. And he's around that in mostly every other league. And he's just getting opportunity. And with that offense right now, being able to move the ball on the ground with Robinson and Eckler, and then being able to move it through the air with McLaren, and of course, through the air, arm, and legs of Jaden Daniels, the mind decision. Yes, I blew up on Jaden Daniels. He threw like one bad pass, and I think he saw it and saw the quote on the X. And then he was like, yo, I got to make this heat override dude wrong, and didn't miss a pass the rest of the game. So that being said, when we get back to it, dude, he's got that. That's the perfect kicker. If he's on your waiver wire, get him. Get him now and don't play. Just put him on your roster. I got to say, another guy, too, that's been very consistent. A lot of people don't ever look at is Chris Boswell for the Steelers. That he's just been in there, and that right gives you a kicker that nobody ever wants to roster. I swear. And they don't even scroll down long enough. Like, they just got Boswell down here at like 10th, 11th, 12th. Nobody scrolls that far. They just look at the top, click, and that's what do they pick up. They're picking up someone like Elliott. And that, for me, that's fine. But somebody like Boswell will always give you that points. Pittsburgh moves the ball. And now that Russell Wilson is there, plus with the addition of Mike Williams, that finally gives them a big receiver. Pittsburgh hasn't had a big receiver for a while. They've had these little guys running around. Now they actually got some help there. Because apparently Roman Wilson, he's just being deactivated and nobody cares. And they're just not deep enough. And Van Jefferson was always a third receiver for me. So I think this is probably going to put Van Jefferson back a little bit, which is fine. And Calvin Austin, I really love what he was doing, especially what he was doing with Fields. It was like they had him ghosting and mirroring Fields the whole time, every single game, because every game it was like when Fields got in trouble, Austin was right there. Austin was right there. So it was, and if you watch the plays, he's trailing him practically all the time. So therefore, that's going to be the move. But is that going to win you a Super Bowl? Is that going to get you deep in the playoffs? I don't think so. I think in a lot of people have huge expectations for Mike Williams that have been flattened like a flat tire over a bunch of thorns. And at the same time, you're looking at it and you're saying, hey, what is going on? Why are we doing this? But hey, it's the Steelers, and that's what we got. But I'm a Rams fan. What the hell am I talking about the Steelers for? I mean, hey, great move, guys. The Rams, you better go make a move. A linebacker. Can we get a linebacker? Can we get my defensive player? The last part of my elected. This is an IDP podcast practically, and it's EJ Top Speed. Yeah, he's fourth in tackles, but he's got a cool name. And believe me, I love Roquan Smith. But right now, EJ Speed, his youth, the level he's playing at, he's playing literally next to Zaire Franklin, who's a tackling machine. The fact that he's coming off a few weeks in a row with double-digit tackles, I don't even know how he's getting it done, because Zaire Franklin's over here eating at the buffet, and EJ Speed is literally getting the scraps and still turning the scraps into fantasy football gold. I love it, man. It's so beautiful. So let's get to it. I hope everybody likes those. If you disagree, comment me at Heat Override on the X. Fine, bring the pain on Facebook. Go to Dr. Roto. Call into Dr. Roto and say, your boy Heat Override, he's crazy. But he does make it sense when he talks about these players. So just, if EJ Speed's on your waiver wire, go get him. Okay? Just go get him and thank me later. Just like you should have thanked me last week when I brought up Damani Richardson. Oh, 0% owned, one of the only IDP experts in the industry that even cared to give a 0% dude an article part. Now, I've been doing this for over 3 years plus at Dr. Roto. And each year, I kept bringing in a new article. This Hard Hits and Cool Picks article came last year when I took the one pickup of the week from my IDP Heats of the Week, and I just made a whole article out of it, adding a few more players. I constantly have 1%, 2%, 3% dudes on my team all the time. But at the same time, as we go back to it, that's what leads to players like Damani Richardson watching the play, seeing all the snaps. And I just got a message today in my Xbox, well, X inbox, I should say, and that there's a free spot for you there, Microsoft. Yeah, but at the same time, we're looking at it, and that is what led me to him. Also, I said this on my podcast last week when I brought him up that the Panthers could and may win that game. They did. So again, we go back to the people who don't believe in some of these teams. They were at home. The only thing that didn't happen was Derek Carr started, which I was hoping for Radler, so that he could throw Damani Richardson an interception, which would have made a complete flush for Damani. And that pick, again, was on this podcast last week. And that's why I love doing this for all of you. I want you to come to Dr. Roto and see that outside of my crazy self, there's actually a lot of other dudes you can relate with and women that you can relate with on our site. Yeah, I didn't forget about you, Leash. And that can win you money. I mean, we have a millionaire maker on our team, right? I mean, who doesn't at this point? All of them are putting in hundreds of lineups, but she did it, right? And at the same time, we're looking at it. So who is the IDP pickup of this week? Who are you going to highlight? Who is one of three players that you had on your hard hits and cool picks article? It is KJ Britt, a fourth-year player, of course. You know, he's got 58 tackles for the year right now. He's had 6+ in 6 out of the last 7 outings as well. You know, you're not saying that that's Damani Richardson breakthrough with 11 tackles, things like that. It's not, but it's giving you somebody who's playing a fair amount of football on a team that is defensively atrocious. Atrocious. They're letting everybody just run by them. So as long as all the defensive linemen other than Bay let everybody run past them, they're just going to run into Britt. And I mean, they still have David on that team. They're still strong, but that's the difference between it. Even as a rotating linebacker and being and playing 45 snaps Monday, he also was able to get those tackles. If at any point an injury or no rotation starts happening, like I said, maybe an injury forces him into more of a full-time role, you're only going to see those tackles expand. And that's the thing. I saw somebody talk about Jermaine Pratt and only getting a tackle this week and being, you know, practically one of the top linebackers, fourth, I think, overall. He's there, but sometimes you're going to have those games. I try to avoid those games. How you can avoid those games is by streaming your IDP players, especially linebackers. It's harder, though, to stream linebackers, but what I have noticed this year is a lot of the linebackers, like Pratt, have had a game that have had like 1 point. So therefore, even Aluakun has had some bad games this year, but he's starting to pick it up now. So he'll be back, getting up there, getting some tackles. Don't be worried. But KJ Britt is just a solid player. He's a player that you can put on your team if you're allowed more than one linebacker spot. And if you can start two, he's definitely somebody that people aren't going to be looking at. Because most likely, if you're starting 2 linebackers in a 14-team league, 28 linebackers are most likely gone. He's not on a team. So you get an injury or you have a bye week, you need a player like him. You need somebody to get in there. And man, if he could just get that, if he could just get more snaps, that's true gold for you people. That's true gold. Plus, they got before he does have a bye in 2 weeks, but before that bye, Tampa Bay has San Francisco and the return of Christian McCaffrey. You don't think that even though they might limit him a little bit, They're going to let him run all day, which means more passing in the middle, more running in the middle, more rotating of the linebackers, more opportunity. Look at, if you can get this bet, mark my words, KJ Britt will hit 7 tackles this week. Find that bet and play it. Come back to me next week. I'll have that bet put in as soon as I can put it in, because these sites must be watching my podcasts and watching me talk stuff on them, because I went to FanDuel for the past few games. I can't even get a tackle prop. I can't get a sack prop. I can't get a pregame interception prop. I just want a sack. I'm not even getting tackles. And in the in game, I swear, I'm looking at it and I've got every tackle box. I log in real quick. I go and hit the tackles. Everything goes dark. Everything goes dark. Everything. I don't need that. Find that. Get that. Because San Francisco is going to play a big downtrodden. They don't want to lose. They're coming off a bye. They're going to win. And when they win, so will your defense. Have a great day, everybody. And always remember to bring the pain. May the tackles be with you. Yeah.